Attack on Titan Season 3 returns, but did censorship come back too? So what's up guys, Foxen here. Time for the Attack on Titan anime changes video. Has there been any censorship or major changes so far for Attack on Titan Season 3 returning? And yes, this is a more super in-depth look at the latest Attack on Titan episode for super hardcore fans. By the way, do notice I will keep this anime changes video to anime stuff only, so no stuff past this episode. However, if I do mention something cut out, and then they bring it back or move it around to a few episodes later, that really is beyond my control. Second important thing I have to mention, I'm actually not sure whether I'm going to be doing this for every single episode. I'll expand what I mean about that at the end of this video. Be sure to get to the end, watch that, and you'll understand why. For this video, I am going to be going over changes plus doing a little bit of analysis on the changes as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2 The Beast Titan's Revenge Episode 1. Was it worth the half-a-year break? At the start of this, once again you hear Armin narrating the series, or at least Armin's voice actor. This actually further adds fuel to the fire for a certain manga theory. I should definitely tell you enough about what it is, post down below if you want the juicy details. Anyway, starting off with the massive change, you gotta look back at the poor people left homeless after the armored titan smashed that cage. But hold up, what is this? Mr. Bum here suddenly got his kit swapped, going from blonde to brunette, or whatever, a darker hair color. In general, also polishing up this whole manga panel. You might be surprised to find out, but I've actually seen this whole blonde hair being brought up as a complaint so often over the years, that so many important players in Attack on Titan have been blonde. And to be fair, that's actually been true. The Attack on Titan anime has always been seen as more grounded for their design in comparison to other anime with their crazy hair colors and hairstyles. Although let's just ignore Nifa, Flock, and even Petra to a certain extent. She was just ginger. Fun fact from my Petra facts video, she was originally supposed to be blonde too, but that got changed for the anime. As for something actually cut here, the manga showed this panel of thieves or bad people taking advantage of this whole Titan mess, just beating up this poor guy. The anime also didn't show the war worshippers again. It seems like their previous importance kept on getting reduced as the manga went along. Next up, that reused shot of Mikasa taking out that Titan from Season 1. Couple of interesting things here. First off, slight inconsistency with Mikasa's blade being perfect. Originally back in the Attack on Titan Season 1 anime, Mikasa looked at her damaged blade immediately after slicing that Titan's neck. As for the mother and daughter admiring Mikasa, this whole scene shot of them is actually new, this wasn't in a Season 1 anime. Then focusing on the mother and daughter, man did they get a facelift for the anime. There's a whole change in hair color, no longer blondes. I guess, arguably dirty blondes if you want to be anal about it. Clothing wise, a complete change. Mama isn't wearing that black shirt, instead now white with the green clothing on top. Mikasa Jr. over here ditched that hoodie for a pink vest instead. Not that it really matters since he previously had someone else with a hoodie other than Annie. Oh well. By the way, here's a comparison of these two from Attack on Titan Season 1 anime. Really just for those that claim the Season 1 art style was better. Blu-ray edition, just for safe measures too. Undoubtedly, at least the art style alone is far more detailed now. Anyway, moving on, you got Season 1 flashback stuff. Among this, you got the poor shot of Erwin after he became a Titan snack. They actually use the same censor shot from the Season 1 anime. Take note for any of you that ever thought this censored gore stuff started in Attack on Titan Season 3. Keep in mind that they did not remove that black spot in the Blu-ray release. Then, the final piece of the flashback. Instead of showing Erwin on top of the wall with the crowd cheering, they proceeded to showing them heading off. To be honest, I really don't mind this change, since episode-wise, you just saw them cheering last episode. Next up, a colossal change coming in. You got the trio, and the way they are looking, that got flipped. But don't worry, you still have two of the Stallion's family members in the shot. Talk about the horses, looks like Mr. Ackerman over here got an upgrade. Instead of the standard horse, you now have this dark-looking stallion. No surprise, you really have to make your main character stand out some. Pretty minor too, but this guy is now clearly looking at some notes or map for the anime. It's all about the small but important details. Next up, the sleeping Grandpa Titan. Looks like this guy lost a chin for the anime. Then the scouts. Gotta swap Mikasa and Koni. Fortunately, Mikasa's still holding Koni back. And let me just quickly mention, compared to the manga, these guys are swapped left and right so often. This is the last time I'll point it out for this video. Next up is actually a great example of the Attack on Titan anime adding additional detail. In the scene of Armin holding the lamp, you could clearly now see some Titan crystal here. Recall that these guys are now using the Titan crystal from Rod's kinky Titan cave as a power source for these lights. Free energy for the win. During the Armin flashback, recalling the day that Eren saved his ass from becoming Titan food, the manga actually showed the Eren rescue scene, but from Armin's point of view. For the anime, instead, they just reused a season 1 clip, and to be honest, I can't fault them for this. Then, after Armin mentioning that past Titan save, cut out from the anime was Eren thinking back to the same day, except right before he rescued Armin, which was when Eren was planted onto that rooftop. You just have the nice Santa Titan in the background. For this whole scene, there wasn't a line here, so they might have cut it just to save some time. Next up, Eren kid from episode 1. Slight wardrobe change here. As for a cut detail, not mentioned by anime Eren was how he considered both him and Armin as some outcasts. Just a couple of kids who never got along with the other village kids. Mikasa definitely should have been included in that. Next up, an anime addition. When Mikasa noticed how this area seemed familiar, for the anime they actually added that scene of Eren waking up from episode 1. They were also careful to include the flower shot. Here's betting $5 also make a return again this season. Since the opening and poster already gave it away, this shot in particular in the anime also included the Thunder Spirits being shown mounted on a horseback. Looks like the guy here also lost his beard. Next up, the district overview, which I actually brought up in my episode review. It's pretty clear that the background artist changed. That or they had a different look in mind for the anime now. Compared to some of the shots from Attack on Titan Season 1, the district houses used to look bigger and the wall was thicker too. If anything, it feels like they're trying to go for this more realistic look, so they're correcting some of this stuff now. It actually makes this whole area look much more massive. Now getting into the scouts invading using their 3D maneuver gear. You can see Erwin at the head of all of this. Much like Levi earlier, Commander Erwin has his horse swapped to a white one. Great way to stand out. By the way, this also being a perfect example of CG being used well in Attack on Titan. For the anime, notice how they highlight Hange, Jean, and Connie taking off. And don't forget showing off Levi. They definitely added humanity's strongest mothermaker. They definitely added humanity's strongest moneymaker flexing on top of that horse. For the manga, Levi actually didn't appear again until he passed Eren on the rooftop, just reminding him to hurry his ass up. Getting into some unique anime additions, Anime Erwin actually gave this quick explanation regarding their plan to seal up both of the holes using Eren's Titan. In comparison to the Attack on Titan manga, Erwin still mentioned sealing up the holes with Eren, but it was really just a side detail instead of giving this full-on Titan chart. This was definitely done just to clarify the events for anime viewers early on. On the flip side, the anime actually cut out the detail of Erwin thinking about how much the warriors knew regarding the basement being important. This might have been cut out just to avoid the topic on why the warriors never bothered to search for Eren's basement. You know, while they were camping out for like a month or two. Sticking with Erwin, loving how they added the flapping of that Armin sleeve for the anime. Then right behind him, tons of soldiers added for the anime version too. 100 or so. Next up, Eren overlooking his hometown. This is really just a great example of the anime improving over the manga. You got a zoom in shot of some of the aged homes, followed by a focus on some of the abandoned toys, and even a spoon. For the last two items, those were not in the manga. The only thing cut out from here was a focus on some containers, which is fine. Details like this really helped to make it feel a lot more real. Then further added for the anime was Eren shown shaking again up here. The manga just had Levi telling Eren to hurry up. This right here is hammering down Eren's hesitation even further. Next up, Eren recalling the good old times with the Jaeger family. Compared to the manga, Papa Jaeger is no longer a drinker. In fact, no drinks at the table. You can now see a nice background in place too, as seen from the season 1 anime. The bread also used to have 3 cuts on it, but you could forgive that. As for the huge hole in Walmaria, the size of this penetration is definitely much worse for the anime. They also do let you see the inner district, compared to only the outside for the manga view. I'm sure Isayama did not want to draw that. For the anime, it's just a very nice detailed display of the district ruins. For Levi, Hange, and the scouts on the wall top, just notice how much wider the wall is compared to the manga. You definitely need more space in there for some thick Colossal Titans to fit inside of. The scouts also moved to being right above the broken gate area. Next up, Eren going up to seal the hole with his super hard Titan. First off, the anime now clearly shows Flock with the Marlowe shot. Don't worry, you'll get acquainted with the special individual later on. As for Mr. Freedom over here, first off, the Wit Studio actually fixed a little mistake here from the trailer. Eren at some points in the trailer was missing those elbow pads. And second, just another excellent use of CG used well in Attack on Titan. In fact, almost all the 3D aerial shots are done in this manner. For the wall here, let me take a moment to appreciate the level of detail kept intact. You could see part of the wall here where the Colossal Titan grabbed onto, that still wrecked even years later. Anyway, getting into Eren going Titan mode the first time. I brought up in my review video how they keep on going back and forth between the light effect and the actual Pikachu thunder coming down from the heavens. Do also notice how it goes greenish, similar to the new opening. Keep in mind, this whole lightning effect was first added with Eren going Titan mode for the Attack on Titan Season 1 finale. This was really among the various changes the anime did for that finale fight. I guess they really just want to use this visual whenever it's convenient, without going into the details. In the manga, there's several examples where this wouldn't really make any sense. For the anime, one example was Eren going into Titan mode in the Raw Dungeon. Before moving on, here's one thing I should clarify about this Titan light show, since I did bother to go back and check. Isayama and the anime studio have actually been consistent with this for the mindless Titan transformations. Then again, even for this very shot after the mid-credit card, it goes back to that light-only effect. Feels like they really want to have their cake and eat it too, but whatever. Anyway, getting into Eren's very first super rock hard Titan. Couple of things to notice here. First off, great job, Eren. You were able to break out of your Titan without any help this time. You only lost a scout cape. And then the second thing, Eren's Titan crystal is for whatever reason this mixture of the actual crystal look, while some other areas look more cement-like, which more closely resemble the wall. Recall back to Eren's crystal protection demo from the Raw Dungeon. That was completely crystal all around. So far they haven't exactly explained this color variation in the manga, partly since it's black and white. Switching over to Erwin, the anime actually added a line to make it clear that he was informed about what Armin discovered, and was waiting for his update, instead of Armin just suddenly coming in. Over for Armin, a very nice detail the anime added was some dents into those coffee mugs that Armin found, compared to looking completely new for the manga version. Let me take a moment to highlight another improvement made for the Season 3 anime. I brought up the padding these guys are all wearing earlier. These things look pretty different in the manga. Back then, it really just looked like a bunch of belts strapped together. So messy. It actually reminds me to the changes they made to the Kenny Squad 3D maneuver gear for the anime. Really just polishing things up. Next up, Mr. Colossal Titan from Season 1. Like I mentioned in my review, this is actually newly done for this episode. Which again is surprising since they redone this Colossal Titan face in the wall 3 times already. For the manga version, they actually showed a further shot, so you're able to see the damage left over from Annie. Really quickly, let me take a moment to mention and highlight how much this first episode has actually given to this one female scout and this other guy that's been assisting Erwin. So far, each of the Attack on Titan season has really fleshed out these background characters who were literally nobodies in the manga. I'll bet you 99.9% of you definitely don't know their names, myself included. Next up, Mr. Reiner. I actually like how it makes it clear that there's this wood plating behind the wall chunk for the anime. I'm still wondering how they made this whole thing without leaving Titan marks on the outside. Was that hole just conveniently left there the whole time? Then, for Reiner taking out this poor scout, I'm actually pleasantly surprised to say no censorship over here. For the anime, Reiner made sure to stab the wings of freedom too. Oh, that symbolism. But hold your Titans, perhaps I spoke too soon. They actually censored the part where the blade was stabbing through Reiner's thick neck. Funny how they also chose to block it with Reiner's now bloodless blade. I don't even know what's the point of covering this, 1 second scene? Ironically, you could clearly see the neck stab in the following scene. So right here, props to Levi for double tapping Reiner too. Literally going for his heart with the second stab. So, who knows, maybe it'll be removed for the Blu-ray. Although, no changes done for the past Season 3 Blu-ray releases. Next up, the Armor Titan just chilling on the ground. Interesting how they keep on doing the red eyes for the Warrior Titans. Even though the Armor Titan literally goes back to his normal yellow eyes in the following face-up close-up shot. By the way, notice them deciding to use a Titan Light Show instead of Thunder for Reiner's Armor Titan transformation. Keep in mind, you did see them use a Titan Thunder for their Warrior Betrayal scene back in Season 2. I guess you must get to choose Red Eyes or Titan Thunder. You can't have it all. Talking about the Titan Thunder, you actually do see the thunder come down from the Beast Titan transformation behind Erwin. That's before the other Titans show up. Amazing detail, by the way. At the very least, they are actually consistent with the Mindless Titan light show. Also, do notice how they made the Titan light transformation much brighter and more greenish compared to how it originally looked in the first trailer. Hopefully this time they're more open to doing improvements for the Blu-ray, although I got a feeling the West Studio is busy with other anime. Talking about the Red Eyes, this actually makes sense for the Beast Titan army. These mindless Titans aren't so brainless. They're now fully commanded by the Beast Titan over here. By the way, do notice how you got a very detailed animation shot of these Titan transformations in the opening. I have this burning feeling this shot was originally supposed to be used in the actual episode. Don't be surprised if it actually comes back in a later episode. Anyway, now for the Beast Titan throw that would make the Night King totally jealous. I was actually surprised to know that this is an actual throw technique called a shot put. Get this Beast Titan over here to Japan for the Tokyo Olympics. But seriously, I don't even know if Isayama originally intended for this in the manga version, but it really is nice seeing some details like this appear for the anime. Anyway, back to the Beast Titan army. The anime added this grand shot. I guess they really wanted to show off the Beast Titan troops, not to mention this backpack wearing Titan over here. This should be classified as Titan cruelty. As for an anime improvement, I can't tell you how much I'm in love with the Beast Titan face close-up here. The Beast Titan looks so freaking menacing, and happy about it too. You could tell this guy feels overconfident. Very, very nice use of sunlight from behind too. He surely looks like a god. So go ahead and hide your wives, and definitely hide your blonde princess. The only thing you do lose out for the anime is this face-to-face confrontation between the two commanders, not to mention the parallel between them. The anime also added this overview shot of all the Titans under the Beast Titan's command. In total, there's around 66 in the shot, not including the Beast Titan himself. You could bet there's a lot more that either got cut off or there's some under the clouds here. The entire Beast Titan army may well go into the hundreds here. Overall, for this episode, a very beautifully adapted episode. Total chapters covered, around 2 chapters. That's Attack on Titan chapters 73 and 74. By the way, I really don't know how some of you thought I hated or disliked this episode for whatever reason. So let me double down and say that I freaking loved this episode. Definitely a great way to start out. I really had almost no issues with the actual episode itself. The only thing I did have issues with was some of the opening things and the ending decision. But that's in my review, which unfortunately got flagged and taken down. F you very much, IG Production. They literally claimed I used 1 second too long of the opening in the video. The hell, suck my Titan ass. Anyway, getting back to what I mentioned at the start of the video. To be honest, I'm not sure whether I want to continue doing these type of videos. 2 main reasons. For one, these videos take so long to do. For this one, I spent like 6 or 8 hours getting the notes ready for this. That's not counting breaks, and that's before even getting to the video editing part. Unfortunately, this type of video isn't exactly easy to break down into chunks either. And 2, I don't expect there to be actually any major changes going forward, at least not compared to the Attack on Titan Season 3 Uprising arc. If I strictly focus on the changes and not the minimal changes, these videos should be only a few minutes long. In other words, hardly a video worth of content. Which is why I'm considering doing 2 of the following options instead. Option 1, talk about the changes in the current episode review video, which would be at the moment it drops. This would actually be really similar to what I did for the changes video in the SAO Alicization anime video reviews. In other words, really just a super quick highlight. Or option 2, go a little bit more in depth, but this changes section would be added to the following episode review at the very end. For example, when Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2 Episode 3 drops, you would get a few minutes from me talking about the changes and differences from the previous episode 2. Go ahead, post down below, let me know what you think about these options. Which would you prefer and watch? I am going to be thinking about this for a little while longer. A major factor will depend on how well this video does. So definitely leave a colossal thumbs up and comment down below if you want to see more. Join the discussion down below, even if you only say hi. Keep in mind I do read the comments. Anyway, if you made it this far, let me know down below, in your opinion, which has been the worst and best change for the first episode. If not a change, just a scene. How does it compare to the Uprising arc? Have you gotten used to the new opening yet? Definitely go watch my Season 3 opening breakdown now. Leave a colossal thumbs up and I'll see you guys later.